welcome to the Commissioners' Work Session of Monday, October 12th. The meeting is being recorded, no public hearing or old items of discussion. New items of discussion starts with 211 presentation, but I don't see any ones from 211 here. So,
No, they were supposed to be.
okay. They sent an email, I'm not actually entirely sure what it had to do with, except probably the volume of our use of 211. All right, moving on then to ARPA funds. Lisa.
Good morning. I submitted a list to the commissioners of in-house items that are for either remote working or items to make it safer for the staff, contactless washing, soap dispensers, towel dispensers, and some IT items in the total of $85,736.33.
So, there's only one thing in this that didn't seem to fall into that category, which is the Rosie marketing proposal. I'm sorry. I saw this in the email and didn't.
That should be in this.
It probably should be.
What is that for?
So that is the request. It came through planning and zoning, so I can see why it probably got in this list.
Okay.
Rosie Marketing was hired last year through the Council of Governments to do some video promotion of the various fire departments, EMS agencies in the county to encourage recruitment. This is kind of a phase 2 of that, and they were coming to present to the commissioners on, they keep moving the dates of next work session or the following.
November,
Right,
first one in November.
First work session in November is when they're going to come and make this pitch. So I would strike that one from this list. You know, I'm supportive of it, just like,
I guess the question is, did it work the first time?
oh, it was crazy successful. They recruited more EMS personnel in this past year than years combined.
So that it potentially avoids our crisis?
I don't know if I, I don't know if I said that just yet.
I appreciate your optimism.
Yeah.
We could do it for $19,000. If there's a reverse trend here, I'm supportive, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing was I think this actually came out of EMS council money, but we spent $500 getting a kayak, put it at the fair, and then Joni Smitley sat there, you know, entering names in for a drawing for this kayak in exchange basically for coming and being part of either an EMR or an EMT class. She had like 40 people sign up. Really, really successful in my mind. So yeah, other than striking that, the rest of it looks good to me.
So there was a number in there for Zoho Court. The number is 1237. The actual number from the invoice or the quote is actually 1485. So if we remove the 19,380 and add the $250, it comes to $66,604.33 that we're requesting to be spent immediately from ARPA funding for in-house options.
Okay. Last comment, I want to leave this in for now, but the public safety department had asked for an update to the emergency operations plan. At the last meeting, we had some, in their budget hearing, we had some discussion over whether or not they could just do it in-house or not. They felt like maybe they could, but I think we were more saying, you've got a lot on your plate right now. So let's leave the allocated funding in there. If they don't use it, they don't use it.
Right.
Yeah, but if they...
Still trying to do it in-house then.
Okay.
Other than that, looks complete. Any objections?
What do you mean? Is your touchless faucets in there?
Yeah. Sure, contact us.
Is that including the water fountain?
This does include
Water.
some water fountains.
Water fountains are everywhere.
I don't know. It's way too modern for this courthouse. Lose our historic,
All right, any more discussion related to ARPA?
You want this on the agenda for Wednesday?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun,
Also, when you're not in your fun.
right? Both. You're right.
So tomorrow, public hearing, that is about CDBG, no problem. We got this letter from Governor Wolf stating that we should be a 7th class county should we choose, but not forced like county code would normally suggest. So what my proposal would be is, I'll make the announcement about that, and then I'm thinking maybe appointing a very small group, ad hoc group,
To
kind of
evaluate.
to evaluate what the implications would be. They don't seem to be very significant to me, but I suppose we should make an informed decision over the course of the next couple of months.
I think we will probably need to take action one way or the other, won't we, or no?
We probably should.
I don't know.
Basically, we will remain a 6th class county unless we publish a resolution that
Okay.
makes us 7th class.
Okay.
However, I don't know really what the difference would be. Looking over the county code, we might be able to consolidate a position, maybe something, but mainly, this is a pro and potentially a con. If we went 7th class, how we compare our wage structure to other counties could change.
Right.
Currently, we compare or benchmark against other 6th class counties, some of which are easily twice, if not 3 times as big as us. So,
Something to think about.
yeah, maybe if we were benchmarked against other 7th class counties, it would make a budgetary difference. Again, that's pro and con, so we'll have to look into that. That's about the only thing I can think of, but Attorney Schmidt, I'd like you to.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I was glancing at the statute section just last week about how the counties are classified, and I remember thinking with the new numbers, it wouldn't, it wouldn't change, but I can't tell you anything different than what you are right now. So you may have the option to stay 6, but if you don't do anything, but the numbers that are set forth in the statute make it pretty clearly.
Oh, yeah.
We would, you can stay in it, but if the statute was passed today, we would fall into 7th class category.
Absolutely.
We have been for some time though, haven't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
So we have, but it has to be 2 consecutive decennial
Census, okay,
censuses.
gotcha.
So this was the second one,
I
which
see.
forced our hand, so to speak, had not the legislation say intervened, because I don't think it matters.
Correct. Gotcha.
Okay, and the next would be a letter of support for Senate Bill 698, which still need to make some revisions to. That's the Public Safety Authority option, which would allow either the county or multiple municipalities to join together to create public safety authorities. Currently, although there are ambulance authorities and that sort of thing in Pennsylvania, the statute doesn't technically allow it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's being done with this,
Yeah, I don't know how. But there are ambulance authorities in Pennsylvania.
I wouldn't see why, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just, they're just intergovernmental agreements?
Yeah, they're just IGAs. Oh, yeah, the difference would be there's no taxing. It's kind of an authority, I don't want to say.
There's no ability to raise
Exactly.
revenue.
Ah, that's the difference.
That really the
Okay.
difference, yeah. Plus, you've seen it with ambulance authorities, but I've never seen it with fire or police. Whereas this
Right.
public safety authority opens that up to any emergency service, basically. Okay, and then there's the CPACE resolution, which we talked about at length, the CDBG, which we'll talk about in the budget here, in the hearing, and then various policies and procedures, and you sent those around last week, right?
Yes, I believe there's just one, and that is the mailing policy.
The mail policy.
Department, yes, to do their own mailing.
Actually, if you wouldn't mind, there's just one sentence I really want to add to, I think it's procedure 2, that has to pertain to the approval of policies and procedures. It'd be a line. We left it kind of blank when we approved it back in March. And now that we're into a rhythm, I think it's time to go ahead and add that sentence which says, this is how we do it. So it won't be any heavy lift to read. And it won't change anything. All right, anything missing for tomorrow's resolution? department updates you want to bring before the public?
Basically elections, we're in really good shape. We're still sending out absentee mail-ins. We're getting them back at a better pace. We were getting them in pretty slow, but they are coming in. LNA starts tomorrow, so that's another step. And all of our new bags are here. They're all labeled and ready to start packing when it's time.
Not hearing any rumblings about any of the individuals who are elected to run polling places or any issues with shortages?
No, Crystal went through and she's called all the judges to make sure that they have full boards, and
Okay.
we contacted the school, kind of put her in charge of that too. We contacted the school to get student workers. How many we're gonna get, we don't know, because we had a lot less in the spring than we did last fall. But with COVID and spring sports, and now we're looking at fall sports, and so we'll fill in those as best we can, but.
Okay. All right. And then when is the last day to accept mail-in ballots?
Election day,
Um,
yeah, October 27th is the last day to apply.
Okay.
And October 18th is the last day to change in voter registration. Campaign finance is through October 18th through October 22nd. I think that's about it.
Unless the Department of State decides to change everything.
Yeah. Never know.
I hope not.
I don't know. But we're in really good shape as far as having everything ready.
Great. A little more so than last election and
Yeah, a little calmer.
much calmer.
Mr. Gilbert,
That's
anything?
I just wanted to share the stats from the upset sale.
Yay.
Pass those down. So I initially talked to the paper, and I think I was confused on, I think I was thinking about the judicial sale rather than the last year's upset tax sale. It was actually one of our better upset tax sales since we've kept record. Look at that the middle stats there. We had 46 in the sale, but 19 sold, which is 41%, which is a lot higher than it's been in previous years.
Do you attribute that to the quality of the parcels?
For the availability of funding.
Maybe people were just, anxious to buy up some properties and flip them. I don't know. It's interesting. The ad, 537 in the ad this year as opposed to last year, 602. If you go back all the way to 2012, we had 1,200 properties in there. And I think that's just getting the information out there, having it on the website so people can see, have all the information out there so they know that what's coming up. So that's dropped drastically. Our posting numbers have dropped. The last column there, 681 properties were posted. That's the lowest it's been ever since I've kept record. Go back to 2013, it was 1,400.
I mean, does that mean that just in general, blight is getting taken care of more so than less?
I think we're just doing a better job at our mailings and getting the information out there for delinquent taxpayers.
Okay.
There's certain files we had to update, so we should have mailings are going out. I think every year that's getting better and better and better. So people are
Okay.
getting their notices and such.
Okay.
So they're avoiding that posting or avoiding that newspaper stuff.
Do we use any external parties to do, what is it called, skip tracing, or just make sure we have the right addresses?
There's an option we can use with LexisNexis, which we use now for research, but there's an option where we can send them a file and they would do all the work and then get back to us. I could look into that, but I think it's a pretty hefty cost.
Is it?
To be added into
Okay.
it.
Well, if we don't have any issue with receiving,
they're doing
people
pretty well
receiving
now.
mailings, then that's,
Yeah.
I know that I've dealt with those vendors before,
Mhm.
so you would know better what our,
Yep, no other questions, I just want to touch base too real quick, is the funds, the county's always interesting, well, how much money do we make from the tax sale? And just from prior history, it's usually about 10,000, it's not a huge chunk or anything, so. That's not really the key role, is just to get those properties back and the tax rolls, right, get that money collected. So yeah, that's all I have from that.
that's great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the information.
I don't know if paper wants those stats or not. You got all.
Lisa?
Our audit is about 90% complete. I spoke with Brian this morning, and we're working on some final approvals and still working on, because of merging so many of the chartered accounts, we're still working on trying to, figure some of those things out, but we should have a draft by the end of the week.
Hallelujah.
This is for calendar year 2020?
Yes. But I really feel that once we work through all of these issues, 2021's audit should be smooth and early. I'm hopeful.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Well, I think that, done a really good job of improving a lot of things the whole way around, from Eric's pass to, change to new platform software, and then you coming along with all of your education, background to perfect that. Would be great.
Thank you for saying that.
Are you working with Brian? Is he your main contact?
Brian, at ZNA, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any executive session?
No, not with Commissioner Eggleston, not here.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, then we have the agenda set for tomorrow. Good updates all the way around. Public comment questions?
Is there a timeline for when you're going to start fielding rescue plan requests that have come from outside the building?
Good question.
Well, I think we were, go ahead.
Currently, Lisa is warehousing them as requests come in through any way, a letter to me, phone call to her, or shepherding them all to Lisa, who's keeping them in a repository. I don't know if we do have a timeline necessarily on when we might start rolling things out. And the reason really is because the biggest, from my perspective, the biggest component is broadband, and we're not, we don't have any solid proposals before us at this time, so I wouldn't want to spend much money, I suppose, without having that
Yeah, I
at
agree.
least sketched in.
And I've been working with Bill for, providers that are, if there's any opportunities in the county where people are interested in expanding their footprint or coming into the county, those types of things. So we do have that NTIA application out there for $30 million working with Youngsville TV. And I believe the notification date is sometime in November. So we should check that. Maybe we can ask Lori to check that for us. Maybe she could tell us that when she comes to the meeting on Wednesday. I think that also will have an impact on what we want to do with broadband going forward.
Anything else?